Welcome, everybody, once again to the Straub Sports Show here live on the 216 Sports Network, Facebook and YouTube page, and, of course, also live on the official Straub Bros Sports Show page as well, where many of you are already tuning in. Big Bro Ken checking in with Little Bro, and for the weather and the news, here's Andrew.
It's snowing sideways. No, it's absolutely awful out there. Please, if you aren't home already or you're planning on going out later, please be safe. Do not go out if you don't have to. It is absolutely dreadful out there, no matter where you are in Northeast Ohio. No, but I'm doing good. We're here. We're ready to talk some sports. We're ready to talk some news. But yeah, no, we're doing good.
Hell yeah. Thank you, everybody who's already rocking with us and who's going to be rocking with us. Absolutely. Pops is in. Let's go. You already know. Mom's favorite guys already rocking in. I want to echo my brother's point. Took me an hour plus to make a 17-minute drive this morning. Listen, at some point I got in the right-hand lane and said, we just going to go how fast as we go.
Yep.
And I'm going to get to work when we get to work. So, yeah, be careful out there. Bundle up. Grab you some Schmoobies Bakery and get checked in for the Straub Sports Show. Like I said, thank you for all of us who are rocking with us. Where can you find the Straub Sports Show? You can find us on X at Straub Sports. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. And you can find us on Instagram, Straub Sports Show, blowing up there. And on Spotify, the Straub Sports Show, not a completely updated Spotify. I'm sorry. I'll get it back. But if you're not watching on your phone, take your phone, click right there. Boom, it'll take you right to the Straub Sports Show YouTube page where you can subscribe and become one of our 17 subscribers. We are rolling, baby. Hey, the page has only been up for 3 weeks, so that's not too bad. Big shout out to our friends of the show, my guy Austin at Create Your Own Wave Apparel. I just shared something earlier today. I'm telling you, make sure you're going to rocking with Austin's winter gear that he's getting ready to put out. Make sure you follow them on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021. And that's Straub. Almost clicked on you. And then make sure you get your actual apparel at cyoapparel.myshopify.com. And also remember, Straub Sports Show, your official broadcast team for the Falls Rapids. As you see, I threw Ali the Otter on this page as well. We did another interview session this week. Shout out to my guy Mark Hale. He went up, linebacker, monster. I'm going to feel very, very body shamed as I start to put up some of these interviews with the linebacker core, just because they're just shredded human beings. Shout out to Mark. That went up. Last week, we put up Jason. That was awesome, too. So shout out to those guys. Obviously, more coming out. There will be a new one this week. But I've got some breaking news. I teased it earlier on Facebook. I get to make the official announcement here myself. Okay. And here's the first one. I've got two of them. Here's the first one. Obviously, you know, the Falls Rapids are doing their Christmas toy drive with the Keys to Serenity. However, our guy, frequent friend of the show, one of my good friends, somebody I've known literally since middle school, almost high school, Rico McGee of the Rulers Minute has partnered with that toy drive. Okay, so you can drop off toys at both of those locations, and Rico, the Rulers Minute, has one as well. I don't have that location because I don't have it written down for some reason. I apologize. It's in a different set of notes. But I will get that updated. I will share it with the Facebook. If you go to Rico's Facebook page, Rico McGee, or if you follow the Rulers Minute, he shared it as well. But make sure, if you can, we're running out of time here, but if you can, get those toys out to the kids. New unwrapped toys can be donated at those two locations, MK Hair and the Moose Lodge number 19, both in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. So that's number one. Here's number two. Now, obviously, we've talked about it before. Me, Andrew, your official broadcast team for the Falls Rapids. But no team is complete without a man on the ground. A man on the field, a guy we can throw to on the sidelines and get the atmosphere of the game, the crowd, and give us some things that we're not necessarily seeing up in the booth, but he's seeing down on the field. I have the pleasure to introduce the third man to our NWO, the third man who is going to help us take over the football scene. Ladies and gentlemen, your official sideline personality for the Falls Rapids, joining me and Straub, was no other than Rico McGee. Rico McGee of the Ruler Committee is going to be our guy.
So,
He's going to be on the field. We're going to throw it down to him. Like I said, we're going to get the atmosphere. We're going to get some maybe an interview or two real quick during the game with a guy. I don't want to bother coaches, but if they're going to offer it, we're going to take it. But Rico's going to give us that downfield action. And, I mean, Rico's going to do what he does best. Rico's going to watch football on the sideline. He's going to tell us what he sees. So there's no one else I would want doing this other than Rico. And that is no offense to anyone we've ever worked with, anyone we're currently working with. But as we continue to grow with the Rapids, this is the guy I want along with us. So shout out to Rico. He's officially in. And Straub, we need to get our stuff together because we need to get our pictures taken so we can have this nice, awesome Cuyahoga Falls Rapids graphic that everybody else has. But
no, you're absolutely right.
All right, real quick, because I've got an update here as well. Schmoopy Sweets and Treats. As you see, there's a new little detail there in the middle. Schmoopy's Sweets and Treats Facebook page for all deals and orders. Yes, our girl Paula decided to make a really, really good choice. Okay, and that is to combine, all of her good things together into one page so that you can find it. So you don't have to go online anymore. Boom, you go right to the Facebook page. You click on it. You slide in those DMs. Remember, I gave you permission. Schmoopy's, not Paula's, okay? You can slide into Schmoopy's DMs and you can order off of these menus and all of the cookies as well. Remember, those cheesecakes are coming in very, very soon, plus all kinds of new flavors of cookies. Man, make sure you get those in. And a special detail, and I'm not 100, I got to get it because I want to make sure I have it correct at the end of the show, but she is cutting her Christmas orders off in December. So make sure that you get those orders in by... Oh, I got it right there. So get your cookie orders or bread orders or cake orders or whatever it is. Get your orders in before the week of the 16th so you can have them for Christmas dinner. Because if not, everyone is going to be mad at you that you don't have the good bakery at Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I'm just going to be honest with you. They're going to be mad at you. So figure it out. All right. Boom. That'll do it for our friends of the show. Shout out to them. We will regroup with them and holler at them at the end of the show. In the meantime, he had the weather. Here's Andrew with the news.
Yeah, a couple of interesting things. Nothing confirmed, I would want to say, but definitely rumors and speculation that I think I want to get your opinion on, Ken. Okay. So, first one, ex-Patriots head coach Bill Belichick has reportedly interviewed and is interested in the University of North Carolina's vacant head coaching position after Mac Brown has been fired. Ken, you know as well as anybody, the college game is very different from the NFL game, especially someone who's been in the NFL game for a very long time. How do you feel about this potential move?
So first things first, thank you, Mom, for the congratulations. That's to Rico. I wanted to not pass that by. Secondly, Daniel currently has us on the biggest screen in his living room right now. So my face is just plastered somewhere in somebody's living room. And that's just a terrible thought. All right. Now on to the important stuff. I hate this. Do you know why I hate this move? Because if I lose the first half of Peyton and Eli with Bill Belichick, I'm going to be pissed because that is the greatest television I've ever seen. No, let's be serious for a second. This would be an amazing move. I'm mad that he would go to North Carolina and not go pick a spot at one of, maybe even a bigger college, like basically any job he wanted that isn't owned by, Marcus Freeman and Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin. You know what I mean? Like that. There's a Sarkisian. There's like 4 or 5 coaches who are not being fired. Excuse me. Any other than that, your job could be up for. I think Bill would be amazing for the college game. He knows more about football than anybody in the history of Earth. He's still, when you listen to him talk, he's still there. Bill's got it going on. Bill knows the game. And I think what Bill is interested in right now is, I think as Bill has gotten older, and this happens as you get older, you become more of a teacher sometimes than a doer. And I think in college, if you teach these guys the right thing, you will win. In the pros, you can teach them to do the right thing, but you also have to do a million more things to make that work. And Bill knows that grind more than anybody. So I think this would be perfect, because who else would you want to develop NFL talent more than Bill Belichick? Like, guys, not everyone's going to Colorado. Yeah, Colorado's getting some good recruits. Not everybody's going to Coach Prime. Guys still go to coaches who they know are going to coach them up and get them to the NFL. It's why a lot of these NFL guys, when they come back, they're successful and they can build programs. Hey, Bill O'Brien over there at BC. You know what I mean? So I think this is a great move. I'm actually disappointed that it's North Carolina. No offense, North Carolina.
No, I think that's a good point. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of players will, I saw it. I'm choosing to ignore it. Because you always do that when I try to make my points on things. Anyways, see, and I'm losing my point here. Players will want to go to teams that they know, or at least they have a shot at getting developed into an NFL player. Now, who else better to do that than Bill Belichick, a guy who was coached for damn near 30 years in the NFL? I think another thing which I think we find kind of interesting is at least back in the day, early 2010s and onwards, you saw this progression of young coordinator becomes a young head coach in college, and then eventually either goes to a young coordinator or even a young head coach in the NFL. That was kind of your thing. We are starting to see a trend now of older coaches or coaches who we don't see really have a spot in today's NFL. Bill Belichick, Bill O'Brien, Eric Bieniemy, who we actually didn't mention, just got fired by UCLA. Now instead of taking that step up from college to NFL, I don't want to say it's a step down, but they're at least going down a league from the NFL to college football. And I'm wondering if this has anything to do with this current new landscape with NIL and everything like that, where maybe it feels more legitimized and it feels like they're less maybe taking advantage of kids now. Maybe they want to do that, or maybe it's another reason that they're deciding. But it seems like those two timelines really sync up, and that's kind of interesting to me.
You no longer can just be a guy who runs to college to build your resume real quick to then bounce back. I mean, now, unless you're a failed coach who then goes to be an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban at Alabama, then that's a completely different story. But yeah, I agree. I agree with you on the timeline, and yeah, I agree. This is a good idea. I also want to give a big shout out right now. Our faces are on big screens. Jack, AJ, and Joey. I appreciate y'all for rocking with us right now. So there's your shout out. Boom. Look at. Hey, listen. I trimmed the beard up today. Okay. I don't know if you can see any of my. Well, I mean, you always see the bald spot, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah. All right. Oh, you got one more.
One more news, and I think this will words are hard. Rile up the comment section here with some interesting opinions. So yeah, I agree. I also disagree with the second one here.
I apologize because my comments were not loading, so I didn't see these until right this second.
No, I also don't agree with this. I think they complement each other very well. Brady might have carried Belichick in the later years because of how bad that defense was and how bad just his wide receivers were. But I think
to a point to carry him.
Exactly. I think that's where we're at that point. But we'll see. This is obviously a very first start in this, so we'll see.
I disagree here, and here's why. If Bill goes to an NFL job, it is immediately going to be how long until Bill Belichick gets this team in the Super Bowl, and that window in the NFL is this big. The window in college, he is going to get the benefit of, hey, guys, he's got to bring in his own recruiting class. He's got to get established. He's going to get a little bit more of a leeway. I think it's why he doesn't go to the NFL. I think he knows the grind. I think he knows it's tough. I think he knows he's older. It's not as fun. And he knows I don't have any room for error. If Bill goes out and he goes 7 and, if he goes 1-15, his legacy starts to be tarnished. Nobody cares if Bill Belichick doesn't necessarily succeed at North Carolina. But his expectations are, I shouldn't say I disagree with the end. That beginning part is true, though.
Yeah,
the expectations are going to be high because you just hired Bill Belichick. He's still going to get some leeway, even though the expectations are high. Deion's expectations are sky high. Real college football people don't hang him out to dry when he doesn't win.
Right. So we'll wait and see. Obviously, this isn't even close to finalized yet. This is, just a if they met, decided, if they were going to connect. We don't even know if either side is interested after that interview, so we will see. Anyways, the second bit of news, like I said, it will probably rile up the comments. Per The Athletic, the Cleveland Guardians are open, not actively pursuing, but open to trading first baseman Josh Naylor and outfielder Lane Thomas. Now, obviously, Lane Thomas, a late addition to the season, who still has, I believe, 1 year under his contract, and Josh Naylor, who I think also has 1 year remaining on his contract, or 2, if I'm not mistaken. Lane Thomas, obviously, with the late search to help Josh Naylor with a very, unfortunately, underwhelming performance in the playoffs, but did have a good year prior up to that. Both are very interesting, considering both bring, I think, a good, either if in terms of play or personality, to the clubhouse. But Ken, one, what do you feel about trading those players? And two, if they were to trade those players, how much compensation would you need to have to be okay with those trades?
Okay, so we get to have, I think, full circle Straub Sports Show here. Okay. Oh, and throw that comment up for me. Big shout out to you, girl. Thank you, Haley. And kiss all those babies for us. We love you and all those babies. And just tell Nathan what's up. Here's where. Okay, the full circle on the Straub Sports Show. I'm going to give you some homer, and I'm going to be honest about something that I'm not very well versed on. I couldn't tell you how much compensation to get back for these guys in terms of baseball. I don't know. I love the Guardians. I love watching baseball, but man, in terms of trades and baseball, I'm going to tell you everything in the world, okay? Because you're not going to trade away my favorite current Cleveland Guardian without me saying I want the world back for him. Now, if the Guardians are willing to trade Josh Naylor away and re-sign Carlos Santana in some form, I'm okay with it. Other than that, no, I don't want to get rid of Josh Naylor. I think you are all prisoner of the playoff moment. I think we're talking about a guy who is just in his first season fully healthy back from a broken leg, okay? A broken freaking leg, not Dusty Rhodes' fake broken leg, a real one, okay?
I was thinking Kurt Angle broken freaking neck.
Yeah, I know. I had to go death the road, baby. So there's my problem there. Josh has had some playoff struggles. I think those can be fixed. Lane Thomas, I mean, yeah, he started really cold, and then you're talking about a guy in the last quarter half of the season into the playoffs was one of our best hitters and bailed our asses out in the playoffs. Yeah, Nick, I'm talking about Los. You already know. Love me some Los. Who also won a Gold Glove. Josh Naylor did not. It's tough. I don't agree with this because I need to know what you're replacing them with. And I'm sorry, I love my Guardians so much, but if you start reading prospect names to me, I'm going to flip this computer upside down.
So my thought process on this report coming out December 5th is we obviously had some time post, playoff exit, and then now up till now where, like I said, these players are kind of coming towards the end of their contract or end of arbitration and all that. I feel like these are post-conversation with the player reactions in a sense that like I said, Lane has one more year. Josh has one or two. I'm not 100% sure. But there was probably, I feel like, a conversation where they were said, hey, we like what you bring to the team, whether it's on the field or the guys love you and everything like that. Give us a ballpark number on what you believe would keep you in Cleveland. And I feel like these numbers that the reason why we're seeing this come out is potentially these are numbers that the Guardians don't believe that that they're willing to pay for these players. Now, we can argue back and forth whether it's because we don't believe that they deserve that or we believe that the front office is too cheap. Regardless, this feels like something where, at least in Josh Naylor's sense, he is a fan favorite for a reason. He's very animated. He's very into it. And he also, at times, is insanely hot. But it's also at times where, especially in the playoffs, he is insanely cold. And it's not due to, unlucky hits going into fielders or, maybe he's a little bad with his glove. He swings out of his shoes. He cannot stay composed, and it's hurting him.
Mm-hmm.
That compounded with the fact that we have backups at his position now that can play his position and are hitting well. It makes him, I'm not saying a completely replaceable asset, but it makes him more replaceable. Now, as for Lane Thomas, he may just be asking for too much for that hot series. We may be able to get him later on. But I do believe he is a part where we don't really have a strong outfield, and he would be a very good addition. So those are my thoughts on it.
Full timeout. We are 22 minutes in the show. There's snow on the ground, and we are talking about baseball.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Because I love baseball so much.
I do too. I agree with everything that you said. Let's shelf this discussion for like 4 months.
Well, we'll see if either of them are there in 4 months. So.
Right. I mean, most of this will probably heat up as we get closer to actual winter meetings and stuff like that. But all right. And
also, wanted to say really quickly, what am I thinking of? I am completely blanking.
I'm going to move on.
We can move on because I forgot his name. He got signed for the Cubs, our pitcher, and thank you for your service in the playoffs.
Yes, I saw it. Can't remember the name. All good. All right.
It's Alex Cobb is in my head, and it's the other guy.
That's cool. Nick will find it for us in the comments.
Yep.
All right, bro. Let's give away some awards. I'm going to be nice this week. I'm not going to use the original name because Straub's been terrified for weeks that we're going to get a cease and desist letter here, either on YouTube or in the mail. But your Straub bruh of the week, presented to you by Garbage Truck Juice. Shout out to Dave for that one. And I go first, obviously, and I'm going to try not to rant because we've already gone too long here in the news segment. College football players, you are my Straub bruh of the week, okay? And I think I may be stealing some of Andrew's thunder here, but all you all did was fight all weekend. Every game had a fight. OSU, Michigan. OSU, you lost 2. You lost the game and the fight. Arizona State. Although I am going to say planting, and I'll get to planting the flag here in a second, planting a trident was kind of dope. It was kind of dope.
That is kind of dope. I'll give him that.
Okay, it was kind of dope. The Notre Dame lineman throwing an absolute haymaker punch, which I did not see during the game, so it didn't actually happen. North Carolina State and North Carolina, there were fights everywhere. Now, I'm going to get to this, though. I know the majority of this is centered around the placing of the flags on logos, okay? And as the resident Cowboys fan, who every freaking year has to watch the video of T.O. when he went and planted himself on the star, okay? Biggest shout out to ever for Emmitt Smith and Roy Williams for laying T out for posing on the star, okay? I'm going to side with the winning teams here, okay? So my official Straub bruh of the week is to all of the losing teams in all of these rivalry games. Number 1, protect your house, okay? In the great immortal words of Under Armour, okay? Protect your own damn house. Number 2, when T.O. was doing it, nobody was doing it, okay? Not in the pros, not in college. This is a thing now. This is what happens. Okay. You want to stop it on the field. But 3, once the home team actually steps in and starts to actually make that big of a fuss about it, walk away, laugh at them, do what the Michigan players did and give the Ohio State players the OHIO, point to the scoreboard, and go plant the flag in the end zone and get your butt in the locker room. So my Straub Bro of the week is to all of you who decided to fight and get pepper sprayed instead of just treating rivalry week with the intensity that it can be without all the nonsense after.
I think it's the first time you've stolen mine, and unfortunately, unlike you, I don't have 7. And so when you steal mine, you steal my entire bit.
I've only got 1, and I thought about texting you about this one because I figured we both might. But
so I guess mine's a little different, but it's in the same breath. And I'm going to put this up. To be fair, it was rivalry week. I agree. However, you do not get to be bitter and angry and want to fight people or your rival after you lose the game. You could do it pre-hand. A pre-game scuffle is always good because you can tell the animosity. A mid-game scuffle is always good because things are getting heated. You lose the game, go to the locker room. Because you know what you can do then? You could replay whatever they do on your field or their field for an entire year and give yourself that motivation. You walking up and acting all tough after you got beat and trying to start a fight is just awful. It's lame, it's dumb, and it's not worth it, obviously, to the guys who lost their sight for a couple minutes.
The only time I will ever in this show give Joey Bosa or whichever one plays, who's the one who plays in San Francisco? Not Bosa.
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa. The only time you'll ever hear me give this dude a shout out. He didn't go after Baker Mayfield when Baker Mayfield planted the Oklahoma flag on the Ohio State logo. He got to the NFL, sacked the living hell out of Baker Mayfield, and did the planting flag celebration because he was like, I didn't forget. I'm going to get you back. Thank you. Like, and here, exactly as Daniel said, preach, bro. Take care of it. Now, here, I know we are not allowed to be pro-fighting, okay? Unless I guess it's hockey. I'm all for a pregame scuffle. I'm all for guys coming out and stomping on the logo and guys going over there and be like, no, we ain't having that and fight. I'm okay with that. Man, but once the game is over, no, get your ass off the field. I'm even okay with it at halftime. You know, when teams kind of cross pass at halftime, you were 20 seconds away from just fighting in the trenches, and now I'm supposed to walk next to you and be buddy. No, I'm going to get the hell out of here. And I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that. But no. So Mike Norvell for throwing the flag away. We'll get to Ryan Day in a second. Ryan Day just standing there on the field like a disappointed dad. But he's a dad that nobody listens to, so I don't even understand why you're standing there like a dad. But yeah. So I'll leave it here with what Bobby said.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Like it's teaching kids that it's okay to act like that after a loss or after you didn't get your way, and it's awful.
And to not contradict ourselves, because I preach 100%. These are kids still themselves, so let's cut them some slack sometimes. However, we pay you like professionals.
It's also more on the coaches too.
Yes, we pay you like professionals. We're treating you like professionals. Act somewhat professional. Oh, yep. Don't worry, Mom. We'll get to Ryan Day here in a second. Don't you worry. Okay, Straub Bro of the Week. Let's get happy now. Your honorary Straub Bro of the Week presented to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Don't ride the wave. Create your own and become a Straub Bro of the Week. All right, bro. You're first.
Okay. I have so many. I have been having multiple so many times. I don't know why.
Wait, hold on. Save your Ashton Genty stuff. Thank you.
Okay. So then I will move that over. First, just a real quick one. Jameis Winston to making Browns football fun again, even in a loss. I hope the Lord delivers me from pick sixes. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, he
And like the best thing is he didn't like look up like trying to get a laugh. He was genuinely disappointed in himself,
serious.
and it was absolutely fantastic. So thank you.
It's with Jameis. Shout out to my guy Nick because he put something up on Facebook about how like Jameis, it's basically what you were saying in the pregame speeches. And I said at this point, when the NFL season is over, sign Jameis Winston to a minimum vet deal for the Cavaliers to just do pregame speeches for the Cavaliers because
Absolutely.
I need the Lord is ready and my horses are ready and the 4 horses of death are upon. Like I need all of it. Okay, I need all of it, and Mom agrees.
So, okay, my second one, it's long, but it's not long-winded, but it's worth it. So, on the Cleveland Browns talk show, Nathan Segura described Deshaun Watson as a spam sandwich.
Yes,
being
great.
So, it was said, people were like, okay, I get it, and some people were like, oh, that's kind of annoying.
Give the context. He was using it in comparison to having Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco, and he said Deshaun Watson was a spam sandwich compared to those two.
Yes. So, obviously, we had all your reactions to it, but the best reaction was to the spam brand itself that released a statement saying that they had seen the clip and said that while we at Spam relish the opportunity to be mentioned along Cleveland's beloved football culture, we must address this troubling analogy in the most professional, albeit slightly amused manner. Over the course of nearly 9 decades, our product has earned a reputation for consistency, dependability, and being delightfully palatable under any circumstance. In stark contrast, it appears that some of the traits attributed to Mr. Watson might be, well, less savory. 1. Spam brand never fumbles. 2. Spam is a team player. 3. Spam knows how to perform. 4. Spam has a clean record. And P.S. If you'd like to taste greatness in a can, don't hesitate to reach out. Spam has been delivering more touchdowns in the kitchen than we can count. This was fantastic. And I think it also hurts me a little bit, the fact that this is my quarterback that we're talking about. I don't like him, but it's my quarterback. And the fact that I have no reason or want to defend him whatsoever is very, very telling. But honestly, Spam, fantastic.
Spam with the absolute win of the week. They not only owned whoever that guy's name was, but they also owned Deshaun Watson in there. Man, the clean record thing that's just wow. That's just a low blow out of nowhere. Deshaun, don't answer to that. Just be quiet. That's amazing. It's awesome. And I don't know. I mean, we're a little baby show, so I don't know if we would ever want to beef with, like I definitely want no smoke with Wendy's Twitter account. Okay.
Oh,
like
God,
just
no.
for the record, but we love you. Just love you. Shout out to the Baconator. But that's to get owned by Spam, man. That's Spam.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, listen, you mix it up a little bit. It's pretty good.
Hey, listen. No, we weren't gonna hate on Spam to begin with, and after this week, they can sponsor the damn show if they want. Okay.
I would love that.
No offense to the Rapids, no offense to Schmoopies, and no offense to Austin, but I'll kick everybody out if Spam, because I don't want no smoke. Okay. Spam can take over. I want no smoke. All right. Craig was in the Navy. Craig knows about some Spam. Shout out to you, Craig, our veteran in the comment section. All right, my turn, and I got a bunch real quick.
Yep.
You want to talk about contradicting yourself? Oof. My Straub bro of the week. The fights and the passion of rivalry week. I want to give you a big shout out. Georgia Tech was a great game. Clemson, South Carolina was a great game. Notre Dame, USC, the Iron Bowl, OSU, Michigan, Sam Houston versus Liberty. I'm throwing that in there because if you didn't watch it, shame on you. But yeah, an absolutely amazing rivalry week on the field. And I only have one more, and I'm going to bring it home in the best way possible with some family. Okay. My Strawbro of the week is a potential thing that could happen, but I have to put it in here because weird things happen in footy. Guys don't get named to team sheets and things like happen. But there's a little thing in England called the FA Cup. Okay. It is a tournament that is open to all divisions in English football, from the very, very top to the very, very, very bottom. A team literally me and Straub could play on. But Everton in the Premier League have drawn Peterborough United in the third round of the FA Cup. Ken, why do we care? Why does this matter? Because it gives us an opportunity to have 39 years young Ashley Young potentially play against his son, 18-year-old Tyler Young, who plays for Peterborough United's youth team and has made some appearances before. Please, both of you, both teams, don't screw this up, okay? Ashley Young has played a lot for Everton this year, so asking him to be in the team sheet is not crazy. Please, Peterborough United, put Tyler in the team sheet. Let him come on the field. Let father and son play against each other on a field. That would be the most amazing thing in the world. I'm too old and broken to ever be able to share that with my son. I was too old to share that with my brother, but I want that for people who have the ability to do that. Please make that happen so I can revisit it and make it a Straub Bro of the Week officially.
That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. All right. See, listen, we were getting a little grumpy there. I turned it around on us. All right. Boom. We skipped them last week. Let's get into them this week. Let's talk about our Cavaliers. Let's guard the land. And Drew, guess what? We're human. We lose basketball games. I know that's crazy, but we lose basketball games. It's a thing. The Cavaliers, we weren't doing it for 2 months. But we have lost, but we beat the Celtics again, which I think was a big win. And I think Nick is going to agree with me on that one. Yeah, I'll address this now. Winston gets a shout out, but Big Papa Russ doesn't. We're gonna get to
what?
And yes, the Browns fan is biased. I ain't giving out no Steelers Straub Bro of the Week.
But like for what?
And I gave it to fights and family. Come on, bro. All right, now back to the Cavaliers. We did lose. Like I said, we beat the Celtics, which I was very happy about. We did lose to the Hawks. And that's 2 losses to the Hawks. And I want to point out something funny to kind of make fun of our Cavaliers, but this is just how the NBA works. The Atlanta Hawks have now beaten twice the league best Cleveland Cavaliers and have lost twice to the league worst Washington Wizards.
That we just blew out.
Yes. If that's not NBA basketball, baby, I don't know what is.
One, I have never liked us matching up against the Hawks just because the way they play is never a good. We just don't work well. We don't have like anybody that could like work with Trae Young, so that's always a bad matchup. I really don't hope we don't have to play them in the playoffs. But I'm not worried. I think we're playing good basketball. Teams lose. We don't have the talent of a 2016 Warriors to make that kind of run where we're gonna lose, 9 games.
I don't want to burn this team out either.
Exactly. So I'm not worried. I think that we're playing a good, consistent brand of basketball. I will watch the games, but I'm not going to make any really big judgments on anything until, at least February.
First of all, I forgot my Cavaliers, Shane. Let me throw out my Cavaliers, Shane, for my Cavaliers segment. Okay. Shout out to Cavaliers Halloween. There's an old adage, it comes from boxing. In basketball, they try to use it for football all the time, but basketball is the best way to use it, and its styles make fights. Okay, you could be the most athletic boxer in the world, but if you got a weak chin and you come up against a guy with a strong right hook, he's gonna knock you out. Okay, Atlanta's just a weird matchup for the Cavaliers that we want to kind of try to avoid, because in that fight, that style doesn't work good for us. However, in a 7-game series, talent is supposed to win out at some point. So that would be that. I'll be a little nerdy for a second. I'm a little nerdy on the basketball section for a minute. If you're just kind of watching the Cavaliers and you just watch games, you're not, fully into the stats and the nerdy stuff. There's real balance on this team. I mean, you've got 2 20-point scorers in Mitchell and Garland that combined 48% from the field and 43% from 3. That's going to get you places in the NBA. You need good guards. You got 2 double-double machines okay, and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, who also with almost a block and a half a game and a steal. Evan Mobley start to giving you some of those young AD stat lines popping up here every once in a while. And then what I like, and we keep mentioning them, but as you know, as the season goes on, you see the minutes shrinking, you see the stats kind of starting to take shape. Ty Jerome and Karis LeVert. I mean, both average about 12 points a game, and at this point, it's who's hot. All right, then it's your time to roll with the second unit, or potentially take up that third spot or that spot there, depending on how Isaac Okoro is shooting, and Dean Wade and our other guys and stuff like that. But yeah, there's balance here. That yes, no, we don't necessarily have Antetokounmpo or Anthony Edwards, but we're all right, man.
We'll be fine.
Okay, all right. Like I said, quick segments on the Cavaliers, kind of until we get through football and we get into the heart of basketball season, as we did with the Guardians, and these will start to ramp up. All right, Drew, let's talk some football.
Yes.
And like I said, there's a new way of doing this. I'm just running off of your score, so we're not out of place and people know what we're talking about. First things first, gobble gobble, baby. Let's talk about your Thanksgiving games and all you haters who buried me. Okay, Lions barely made it out of this game. If the Bears weren't the Bears and they didn't Eberflus themselves out of a victory, they would have won.
That was the worst thing, I think. How do you waste 30 seconds? And you had a timeout in your pocket.
Well, hold on. If you missed the play because it was Thanksgiving, it was the early game, you were potentially still basting the turkey, getting the stuffing ready, whatever it might have been. Bears had an opportunity to tie or win the game, and basically just let the clock run. With 30 seconds, like he said, had a timeout and just let the clock run. And then when they finally called the play, I think there was like 7 seconds left and they ran out of time.
I don't entirely blame it on Caleb Williams. Should he have realized his team wasn't going to get to the line and call a timeout? Yes.
He's a rookie quarterback. That's not his call.
This is what I'm saying. He is a rookie quarterback. They also looked to the sideline at one point, and it seemed like Eberflus wanted them to run the play. So you're not going to disobey coach, especially as a rookie quarterback who's on a team that's struggling. You feel the pressure on that. This is 100% on Matt Eberflus, and I think it's the absolute right decision that he has gotten fired, and now that because you were doing nothing but harming that young team. And so to get him out and getting right before the end of the season is a good idea.
It's clear the Bears are tanking for the number 1 pick to draft a quarterback.
Oh, I would laugh so hard.
Oh wait, they did that already. Oh, they're gonna run another one. Oh, okay.
They've done it twice, honestly.
Yeah, and Justin Fields and now this one. I think the funniest part is too, they elevated the offensive coordinator who, as he's come in, has made Caleb Williams and this offense look better, look competent, had Caleb Williams actually getting in a rookie of the year conversation. Like, we could actually mention his name in the race and it not be disrespectful to the other 2 names. So he was turning a corner. But yeah, it was time to get Eberflus the hell out of there. Your other Thanksgiving games, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, took care of the Giants 27-20 behind just a phenomenal effort by All-American Cooper Rush. And no, I'm playing. It was an awful, ugly game that I barely watched, but I'm glad we won.
Yeah, listen, great game. Good game for you guys.
Moving on. Packers beat up the Dolphins 30-17 in what we said was going to be the best game. And then the Chiefs squeaked them out. And hold on. Pause. We always stop with that because we are.
There's more of you.
Yes, you already know it, Paula. America's team. We them boys. Okay, we suck a little bit, but we them boys. No, Daniel. Never in the history of Earth will a team with never. Oh, I was about to say something that probably get us in trouble.
So I'm assuming this is true.
We're gonna get there. We're 2 games away from it. Can you?
I will say the crazy thing is, you still didn't win a playoff game since then. So, and it was 3 years before that. So I don't really want to hear it.
Shelve it for 2 minutes till we get to this week's games. All right, you guys, you're ridiculous. The Chiefs on Friday night, Black Friday, which nobody was watching, took care of Oakland 19-17. I can't say took care of. Squeaked one out there 19-17. And then we rolled into Sunday. The Colts upset the Patriots on a 2-point conversion, 25-24. The Chargers upset the Falcons, 17-13. The Seahawks over the Jets, 26-21. No, okay, here we go. The Steelers over the Bengals, 44-38. And that's because all of you people from Pennsylvania who root for the Steelers have to save up all your life earnings so you go to the best stadium in the world to watch your team play. The Steelers over the Bengals, 44-38. Poor Craig, the other Steelers fan, is just taking shots for no reason. Go ahead, Daniel. You have the floor. 44-38. You won.
Congratulations. You beat a team that has probably the worst defense in the league.
The worst defense. We'll have some fun with them when I get to the Monday night game with the Cowboys and the Bengals. Spoiler alert. But yeah, hey, I will say this. The Steelers have beaten now the Ravens and the Bengals. They did also lose to the Browns, but Kings of the North right now, and I do apologize for you taking
that is really funny
Pennsylvania shots. I apologize. I had to get that one back. Moving on to the rest of the games this week. Help me out. My mouse is. Thank you. We have Texans and Jaguars, 23-20. That game marred by controversy. If you haven't seen the hit on Trevor Lawrence, I don't know where you've been, but a vicious late hit on Trevor Lawrence. The defender was suspended for 3 games. His name is escaping me right now. Any thoughts on that?
It was a dirty hit. Dirty hits happen.
Yep.
Unfortunately for Jacksonville, this really wasn't too much of a difference maker, as even if they had won this game, or even with the loss and with losing Trevor Lawrence, they really weren't in the playoff picture.
Trevor Lawrence is also dealing with a shoulder injury that needs surgery. So, yeah. I mean, you're potentially saving him from long-term damage, I would say. But no, that was a tough one. I will say this. I've agreed with Orlowski and Rex Ryan and Tom Brady. The quarterbacks need to somewhat be held accountable, not necessarily for this hit, but with the Mahomes where he fakes stepping out of bounds. When a quarterback gets touched anywhere near out of bounds, it's a flag. These guys with the fake slides, Josh Allen, Kenny Pickett, even a little bit of Trevor Lawrence there where he's running full speed and is sliding extremely late. We got to do something. These guys have to be given a set of rules themselves if we're going to protect them, because we're never going to not protect them. That's out of the question. Don't tell me to stop protecting the quarterback. That's literally not going to happen. So we also then need to bring the quarterbacks in and say, hey, something's got to change for you guys too. You can't slide late, or no more sliding maybe. I don't know. You know what I mean? You have to give yourself up early. I don't know. I'm not in the rules committee for a reason. I do a podcast. So make a rule up and figure this out, because we have to start penalizing these quarterbacks for not giving the defender enough time to protect them when we're demanding the defenders protect them. And Mama, I can't put your comment on because you cussed, and you can't cuss in the comments. I can just cuss on the show. Unfortunately, that's how that works. It's not my rules, it's YouTube's. But moving on in the scores, Vikings over the Cardinals, 23-22. Almost called them the R word. Washington Commanders, 42-19 over Tennessee. The Carolina Panthers pull out a shocker over the Buccaneers, 26-23. Chargers over the Saints, 21-24. Eagles over the Ravens, 24-19. All is not right in Baltimore. And I want to point out this trendy little stat that I found because it is amazing. The Ravens have lost combined in all of their losses by a total score of 22 points. In those losses, kicker and normally best kicker in the game, Mr. Automatic, Justin Tucker, has missed a total of 22 points.
Wow. So that's what, 9 field goals? No.
It's a bunch of field goals and some extra points.
Thank you.
Basically what this comes down to is we don't. I mean, and Bobby, we love you. With all due respect, we have a rule on the Straub Sports Show, and that's kicker, do your damn job. And now, while it's not fair to necessarily blame a kicker because he missed a game-winning field goal, it can't be all on him. Win the game too. When the point total that you've missed in all of the losses is the amount of points that your team has lost by, I get to look at you down at your locker and go, those are on you, man. Do your job. Do your job. And who's the best kicker in the league? It's the Cowboys kicker. So yeah, there's that. Moving on. All right. Now we've got 20. Oh, my bad. Rams over the Saints. I did mention that. I did want to mention out. Saints lose tight end, quarterback, running back, Swiss Army knife, Taysom Hill for the year with an ACL tear. And hey, just for the record, Rapids fan, Bobby agrees. So your kicker agrees too. He knows. And you're absolutely right. Facts. Best kicker in the league down there in Dallas. Boom. All right. My bad. Bills big over the San Francisco 49ers, 35-10. Unfortunately, we have to point out that the 49ers lost both Jared Mason and Christian McCaffrey probably for the year for both. It's a high ankle sprain for Jared Mason, so possibly Christian McCaffrey. I told everyone at the very beginning of the year that a source had said, do not be surprised if this is an Andrew Luck situation where we see a player at the top of his kind of game walk away because of injuries. And I don't know. This is a tough one. Maybe I don't know Christian McCaffrey, so I doubt he's going to retire. We probably see him try to come back, but this is a body that is just apparently not made at this point to have this wear and tear, and that's not being disrespectful to Christian McCaffrey. We don't get to choose these bodies, no matter how well we take care of them.
Yeah, and I mean, the issue is he's getting ran like a running back in like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. His body isn't a 80s, 90s, 2000s running back. It looks like today's running backs in the NFL. Which is why you can't put the same amount of workload on him. He doesn't have the same amount of mass. He doesn't have the same amount of things. So when he is like in Carolina, when he's consistently used, and honestly now in San Francisco in like this past couple of years where I feel like they're relying on him very similar to how Carolina did,
he can't
withstand it.
We joked about him being the center of the offense for San Francisco last year while also saying, man, this is great because he's healthy. Man, this is great because he's healthy. Boom. This is what also can happen. And it's not great when he's not healthy. They look awful, but they're banged up elsewhere, but they also look awful because they don't have the quarterback who fits that system, and they don't have the star running back, wide receiver, do everything guy who kind of reminds me a little bit of like a bigger LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm not saying they run the same, but I'm just mean in terms of I can do anything with this guy. He's not built. He's not built for it. It's unfortunate because he's a great player, and he ruined a lot of fantasy leagues this year. I know that's the least important thing, but I just wanted to make that joke because there's people watching the show that picked him first. All right. And in our last score of the night, the leader in the clubhouse for Rookie of the Year, Bo Nix, took care of the Cleveland Browns 41-32. Like you said, Browns football is fun, even though you didn't win, but that's okay. Have all your games be like this. Shootouts that you lose in the end to get that number one pick. And, man, Jameis Winston, 6 touchdowns, 4 for the Browns, 2 for the Broncos. What an amazing night.
Yeah, listen, it was fun to watch. I'm not upset about it. I also want to say that Bo Nix did not look good in that game. He threw 2 interceptions. I don't want to hear it.
Great defense.
It's a good defense. But, and also 14 of those 41 points came from Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
So
either one. Yeah, no, I get you. I'm trolling you.
But no, it was fun. It was a fun game. Not worried about it.
All right, so we kick off Week 14 with a great game tonight. Packers at Lions. I was watching Get Up literally before I got on the show today, so I have a stat to steal from there. With a win tonight, the Lions would have a 79% chance of winning the number 1 seed in the NFC, which is something that would be big for them because you do not want to go to Detroit in a track meet with that offense.
No.
It is ridiculous. And while they have a crazy amount of injuries on defense, they can still play their way and their speed of defense in that dome, in that track. Packers and Jordan Love looking to kind of make a statement in the NFC and say, hey, Eagles, hey, Lions, we're here too.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. All I'm going to say is that's a good game. Obviously, I care about the Browns. I just think it's going to be an entertaining game regardless of, if you're a neutral fan or not. But hold on, all I'm going to say is after that, we got some stinkers this week.
Oh yeah, there's some bad games this week. So
massive stinkers this week.
Enjoy Thursday, and then in here in a couple minutes, we're going to tell you what to get ready for the college weekend. So you can watch a lot of things on Saturday, and then you can help the missus put up the rest of the Christmas decorations on Sunday because you'll need to pay attention to a lot of this. But like I said, great game tonight, and then we get it rolling on Sunday. You jerks couldn't wait 3 minutes to get to this section. You had to argue it out in the preview. Or in the review when it wasn't even your time yet. But once again, round 2, Browns at Steelers. Jesus Winston will prevail, Nick says. Browns fans, Steelers fans, you're plentiful in here. You have the floor.
I don't really have much to say. Jameis Winston will probably throw another 2 pick sixes. He probably won't be saved by a blizzard. Listen, this Steelers team is good. I'm not going to get mad. They finally have an offense that's able to put up points, and their defense, while not as good as previous years, is still really good. And so, yeah, I mean, and they're also in Pittsburgh now. That's a very hard place for the Browns to play. Before in the beginning of the season, I was very much, I don't care because I'm pissed off that this team sucks. Right now, I don't care what the result is because, one, we don't have a future in the playoffs or anything this year, and 2, the games are entertaining at least, so I can at least watch them and be like, you know what? This wasn't a waste of 3.5 hours.
So, you should win. Sorry, I was doing multiple things here, making sure I'm still alive as a human over here. Daniel brings up a good point. Last time the Browns swept us was the 80-90s. They should expect a win at home. What I do appreciate about the Browns in this rivalry, at least for the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years, is if you've at least made it now this kind of rivalry. It's tough for the Steelers to come in Cleveland and win. It's tough for you to go to Pittsburgh and win. It always has been. But I appreciate that. I will say this. This is kind of funny on both sides. But yes, that Thursday night, this comment section was full of cocky-ass Steelers fans and a lot of Browns fans going, oh, please, just not in the face. And this week, I hear nothing from my Steelers fans. Well, Daniel's been chirping. But on the Brown side, it's all roses and it's all 4 horses and God deliver me from intercept pick sixes. They don't even care anymore. They got Jameis. It's whatever. I agree.
Football's fun again.
I agree on this point. Someone made it. I'm stealing it. Can't remember, so I wouldn't give you a shot. Oh, excuse me. Dan Graziano. If your team is out of the playoff hunt every year, you should have to sign Jameis Winston if he is not on a team that is already out of the playoff hunt. Because, like you said, it will make – I'll take him on the Cowboys right now. Hell yeah. Let's go. Dude, CeeDee Lamb will have 7 touchdowns a game. He'll still have 4 pick sixes. But, that thing's going up, dude. Let's go. But yeah, it's funny. It should be a good game. I do expect the Steelers to take care of it this time, though. I'm not gonna lie, but be careful. Listen, man, he's gonna get them up.
I hate when people do this. When they're like, "Oh, that game was your guys' Super Bowl." No, you're just. Yes, you're like, oh, we don't know. No.
Some of your own media people and media people around the country were saying that too.
Well, one, it was honestly, I feel like the best game of the season at that point because of the snow and because of everything that had happened and because of Jameis being Jameis. But this gets said by people who, yes, they lose and then they move on to the next week. That is true. And then are annoyed that they hear the other team celebrating that they won. This isn't like, yes, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, was there a Super Bowl to beat you guys? Yes. We've beat you guys a good amount of times now. That it's fun to see the win, but it's not like we're gonna hold on to this, into next season. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was a cool game and we won. It was awesome, and that's it.
The problem is, bro, and I love you for this. So what we tried to do here on the Straub Sports Show, well, Andrew does more than I do, is to not to be an I do this to be an intelligent sports fan. Okay, we're smart. We claim to be smart sports fans who come and bring you what we do every day, which is argue with each other and talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. I work with a lot of Browns fans. Okay, the average sports fan, not just Browns fan, the average NFL fan is not me and you and the people we have in our comment section. Shout out to all of them. Okay. I got people who are still chirping at Steelers fans. But we beat you. But we beat you. But we beat you. Doesn't matter. We're better than you. We beat you. And I'm just like, I'm walking away from this conversation. I'll see y'all Thursday for my opinion, because I'm not giving this one away for free. So while I agree with you, that's not how your fan base has, for the most part, been acting. They've acted like it was the Super Bowl. And if you win again, you're going to act like you won too.
Yeah, I also want to say, though, that this was the entirety of that Thursday show right before the game, and would have been the next Thursday show had we not beaten them. And there was a surprising lack of comments from a certain someone the next week. And so I don't want to hear you saying anything, because as soon as we win, you're all, I don't want to be a part of the talk on the show. But as soon as, some rivalries come up, you're all spouting out your nonsense.
I'm just going to point out that it is Daniel in the show today, not the Falls Rapids page. But
exactly.
We're just going to let that go. All right. We'll move on to the rest of the games of the week. We've got Saints at Giants. Good luck watching that. Falcons at Vikings. I do have a question. Michael Penix said he is ready and he believes Kirk Cousins will rebound. But should it matter, and should Atlanta move on?
No, you have a terrible NFC South that potentially has playoff implications for every team. You play the veteran that could potentially get you until you're officially out of it.
Okay.
And you also paid him that much. Like, at least you might as well try to get as many games out of him as you can.
Daniel does say this. If the Browns come to our house and win, you got to give the respect. And he says he loves you. Yes, there we go. But I don't know. I think with the way with the way Michael Penix has looked, and the way rookies can come in and look like Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, I don't know. It might be worth the shot if you go out here and lay an egg against Minnesota.
Yeah, but you also got people. If you also look back, the teams that allow their quarterback to wait a year or two and not thrust them in the first season typically have the most success. So
if you don't think Michael Penix is ready, that's fine. But if he was, why didn't you start him? And if the only reason you didn't start him was because of Kirk Cousins, that's how I can see you playing this math out where you go with Michael Penix. Because if he was ready,
sure,
and you were like, but no, we paid Kirk this money, we got to let him go, and now he's pooping the bed.
I get you.
But,
I get
okay.
you.
Yeah, moving on. We've got, and I do it every week, man. I almost called him Oakland again. Sorry, Oakland. We love you, Oakland. The Las Vegas.
Oakland.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders, John Fisher of the week coming back next week because I did that. Vegas Raiders at Baker and the Buccaneers. We have got Panthers at Eagles, Jaguars at Titans, which might be one of the worst games in the NFL in the past couple of years. We've got former Patriots quarterback Mac Jones versus whoever the hell. Is it Will Levis still?
I think so.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's not. It was Mason Rudolph, I think, for a bit. So I don't know if it's still Will Levis.
Who cares? New York Jets at Miami Dolphins. Hold on to that. That's another bad one. Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? And he says he wants to come back to the Jets. Don't do that. Don't do that to the Jets. Come play for the Falls Rapids. Although I'm not sure we want you. After watching our four quarterbacks, I'm not sure we want you. Seahawks at Arizona Cardinals. I got that city right. The Buffalo Bills travel to LA to take on the Rams. Bears at San Francisco. The Chargers take on the Refs and the Chiefs. And then that's your Sunday night game. And then in your Monday night extravaganza, the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals travels to take on the offense of the Dallas Cowboys in a Monday night showdown. Cooper Rush for MVP. Josh Allen, who? Cooper Rush for MVP. Let's talk about this slobber knocker of a Monday night game. No, I'm joking.
The fact that they flexed Jameis Winston out of the Thursday night spot against the Bengals, but kept this game in, baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
Because listen, you can hate and this is just facts, okay? Because this is what we give you on the Straub.
You get views.
100%. So Steelers, America's team. Last year, the Cleveland Browns fans were trying to say, we're America's team. Buffalo, we're America's. No, you're not. It's still the Cowboys. Don't matter, baby. Cooper Rush, doesn't matter. It does not. We could put Jerry Jones in a freaking quarterback, although that would be pretty awesome to watch. But I'm just saying, we could put Mike McCarthy in a quarterback. You're watching because it's the Cowboys. And I joked about the Bengals defenses versus the Cowboys offense. What we really get to see is Joe Burrow, who's having an MVP-like season. Unfortunately, he's doing it on this Bagel team versus Micah Parsons and the Cowboys defense. Let's see if the Cowboys can do something they haven't been very good at other than at Thanksgiving, and that's winning at home.
Yeah, and you also need to stop the run because Chase Brown is having a hell of a season as well.
For my fantasy team, I'm good on that this week. Let's and then your team's on a bye this week: the Baltimore Ravens, the Denver Broncos, the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Washington Commanders, and New England Patriots. All right, boom. Get that NFL stuff out of here. It's time to talk some college football. And bro, wow, rivalry week lived up to the hype. Boom. Let me get your face in there. There we go. Boom. Let's roll through these. Stop me when you wanna. Let's start at the very, very top. Hold on. Let me clean up the comment section because we do get a little delayed. Yeah, I will continue to say that for the Cowboys though. That dude.
I appreciate him. I picked him up in fantasy in multiple teams, and he has paid me back in dividends. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then at some point we should start sitting him so we can save him for next year. Running backs only have so many plays. We need one anyways. We'll sign Zeke again. Don't worry about it. Our running back room will be great next year. Thanks, Jerry. Going
all out, baby.
Yes, let's get into college. I can be happier. The number 1 Oregon Ducks took down Washington 49-21. And boom, we get to talk about it. The game. I hate calling it by the way. Please come up with a better rivalry name because I'm not calling it the game because it's not to everybody. Sorry. No, I'll just do it now. The Iron Bowl is just as important to me. Army Navy is better. What?
The only thing that I think it has on every other rivalry, one is I think it's at the same intensity as those other games. But I don't think I've seen a college rivalry with higher stakes in terms of playoffs or season ends than I have this one. Like Auburn was good, but there are many stretches where there hasn't.
Recent, because Miami and Florida State would like to have a conversation with you about the 80s and 90s where for 20
Miami
years,
and Florida State don't play anymore at the end of the season.
And for 10 years, the Ohio State-Michigan rival didn't mean a lot when only one of those teams were good. Now I know there's some upset in there, and I listen. It's top 2 to 3. I'm not kicking it down to 10 and saying it's garbage. Okay, I'm not calling it the game. Okay, I already did, and that's all. However, let's get to that game because Ohio State lost to Michigan 13-10 for the 4th year in a row, and once again I think it's 10 years in a row. This rivalry has been decided by the team with the most rushing yards. And once again, for the 4th year in a row, it was Michigan. And Drew, before I throw it to you, I want to point something out. And it was something that was said about Ryan Day specifically. Michigan is so in Ryan Day's head that he tries to make his team play a different brand of football when he plays Michigan, which plays right into Michigan's hands because you're playing the exact brand of football that they are best at and on any given day could beat any team in the country at on playing that way.
Yeah, you're not wrong. First, I want to say I thank you for bringing up that the last 10 years, the winner has been decided by the most rushing yards. I think Ryan Day took that literally and decided he was going to try to top that. listen, as Ohio State, what is Ohio State as a position known for?
Wide receivers.
Exactly. The fact that, especially late in the game, you choose to continue to run the ball and fail because of their well-known stout defensive line. The only thing that I could say is salvageable on that Michigan team, other than maybe Khalil Mullins, but even he's not fantastic. Anyways, Ryan Day, I think Ryan Day is one of those coaches that we talk about all of the time because we see it everywhere in college football where they try so hard to prove to people that they are legit that they end up being their own undoing. We saw it with Steve Sarkisian for a little bit before he got Texas back, and he finally kind of tooled it.
We saw it across the sideline for 5-6 years with Jim Harbaugh.
We saw it with Jim Harbaugh. We saw it. We see it with James Franklin at Penn State. We see it with the Miami head coach is escaping me.
Mario Cristobal.
We see it time and time again because these coaches in these big time positions, they let the outside noise get into their heads, and that ends up getting to the team. And this is why some teams are successful. Listen, Saban has had years where he didn't even make the national championship game. You think he came out the next year and tried to prove that he was the one that, that he still is good? No, he sat down. He said, what went wrong? Okay, let's fix it. Let's move on. And that's what Ryan Day has failed to do. And I'm not saying this as an Ohio State fan because I stopped being one about 5 years ago before he even took the job. It's plain as day to see that he is just absolutely feeding into these people's narratives because he has now believed them himself.
My favorite, I guess, but I don't know. Like this rivalry is a little different. I'm not going to put a coach from that where in the same aspect, but this is what the funniest thing about this week is. The video has popped up, not just of Ryan Day standing there on the sidelines after the fight, asking his players what happened. That's kind of your job to know, or at least not ask on the field. They kept bringing up the Notre Dame video. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, last year when Notre Dame played Ohio State at Notre Dame, yes, we only had 11 guys on the field, blah, 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 whatever. The post-game interview, Ryan Day went berserk and was looking around and asking where 88-year-old Lou Holtz was because he wanted to try to fight him because he was so amped up. Where's Lou Holtz at now? Because he said, my team ain't tough, huh? It's always Ohio versus everyone. Ohio versus the world. Ohio versus the world. Cornball. And this is what you get. You let 88-year-old men and outsiders let you determine how your team plays. And if that's what you're going to do, I don't care how much NIL money you have pumped into that team, you're going to lose the games that mean the most and the most important ones in terms of rivalry and what they mean to you in here. You're going to lose those games every single time when you allow the other team to dictate your game plan. Hell, you're going to lose most games when you do that. It's just in college, Ohio State has shelled out more NIL money than any team in the country this year. And that's not me being an Ohio State hater. That's a fact. I think it's $19 million in NIL money. Okay. Somebody will correct me. It's either 12 or 19. I know there's a disparity in those two figures. However, either way, the most NIL money in the country did not come from the SEC, did not come from Texas oil money, did not come from rich boosters. It came from the Ohio State one. I'm not saying they don't have rich boosters, but you know what I mean. Not a Vandy or a Notre Dame or a Stanford. It came from Ohio State. So no more excuses, Ryan Day. Okay. So here would be my question. Now I know everybody wants to fire Ryan Day. And a lot of people up in Michigan wanted to fire Jim Harbaugh until he figured it out. He got it together. He beat Michigan because it wasn't just, remember, in Michigan, it wasn't just Ohio State he was losing to. He wasn't beating Michigan State either. He wasn't beating Penn State all the time. Okay, there was big games he was losing. Do you have the patience Or do you do what I have said would be the best thing that happened to Ohio State football since they hired Urban Meyer? Do you call Mike Vrabel and get him in there now?
Oh,
Well,
you
you can't. I'm
absolutely do.
sorry. You can't get him in there now because you still have a shot at a national championship and you do not derail
Oh,
that.
next year. Yeah.
Yes. But do you already make the phone call to tell Vrabel, hold on to any job that you are going to get, because no matter if he wins a national championship or not, we're getting this guy out of here. He can't beat Michigan.
Right.
However,
And
is that also a short-sighted decision?
I think it's a short. Well, I think so. I think the difference between Harbaugh and him is you look at the record of Michigan before he came in: 8-5, 7-6, 5-7. That school was floundering, and then had back-to-back 10-3 seasons. He himself changed that program by coming in. Ryan Day inherited a national championship worthy team and has fumbled it at every opportunity of the way.
Besides the Notre Dame video, they keep showing that one of the Urban Meyer playing the video game at Ohio State and handing the controller over to Ryan Day. So great. So great.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like right before Ryan Day started, Urban Meyer came in. They were 14-1, 14-1, 11-2, and 12-2. It's not like this was Michigan football. So I think that's the difference there. But two, yeah, I think if you don't win the national championship or you don't at least make the game, I think Day's out. And I think you have to call Vrabel and be like, listen, you will be a hero if you come in.
Vrabel will get recruits. Vrabel, I mean, had an outstanding NFL career. And there was a comment on Facebook I'm responding to here. I mean, I responded to it there, but somebody was like, well, his coaching in the NFL record wise and that isn't a plus for him. Yeah. However,
that team had nobody.
Right.
And Derrick Henry.
Not four, but 6 teams are good in the NFL. Everybody else sucks. Everyone else hates their coach. Everyone else wants a new quarterback. That's not how it works in college. If he's one of the top 6 teams, or top 20 teams in college, he's great. Or he's good. He's great. He's really good. If you're one of the top 20 teams in the NFL, you can still suck if you're 20. So
yeah,
he's good. Guys, if guys know you can get them there and they respect you as a player, they're going to come play for you.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to be Coach Prime.
No. And that's the thing. Well, but that's the thing is like Vrabel I wouldn't say dragged, but he coached that team that was led by Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry and some okay receivers to a 1 seed before getting beat by the Super Bowl runner-up Bengals that season.
Put some respect on A.J. Brown's name.
He was good, but listen, he wasn't the same as the year before and then some years after. It was near the end of his Tennessee career. But I think, regardless, I think Ryan Day has a lot of pressure on him to do something in these playoffs.
I agree.
He's going to make it.
Well, yeah, we'll get to those playoffs here in a second. The Texas Longhorns won the Battle of Texas 17-7 over number 20 Texas A&M. The only other funnier videos than me laughing at Ryan Day this week have been laughing at whatever the heck those Aggie guys do at the 12th men's celebration and all that.
Oh, yeah.
It is just awful. It's cringeworthy. It's cornball. It's whatever. However, I am going to just for a second, just stop using all the homophobic slurs when you talk about these guys. We can make fun of them being cringy and corny without having to call every one of them the G word. Like, let's grow the F up a little bit. It's 2024. Let's be adult about it, because we can still laugh about things, but then y'all do this and then I can't laugh at them and talk about them because you're ruining it. But Texas took care of business. Is Texas real for you now?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like A&M just really came out and like dropped an egg, laid a stinker on this one. Listen, the Longhorn defense is good. I'll give them credit, but I feel like moment was too big. Legs were too bright for Texas A&M. I think that's honestly what it was.
And Texas is good. I think
and Texas is a good team. I'm not going to discredit them that. They should be in the playoffs. Do I think they're going to win the whole thing? I don't believe so. But I think they have a good chance of winning a game or two.
And I'm going to use the SEC thing that we give credit to Alabama and Georgia for every year because Texas is in there. If the only loss you have is the team that you're replaying in the SEC championship game, I'm going to ride with you. I'm gonna ride with you. All right, let's keep it going. Penn State took care of Maryland 44-7. Yeah, I know you don't even want to talk about it. My Notre Dame Irish won a West Coast shootout, 49-33 over USC. Man, we held our own. We ran the shit out of the ball. And it would have this. I'm gonna tell you this. This game would not have been close had Jeremiah Love not gotten hurt. He was absolutely torching USC before he got hurt. I think they may have held him back a little bit because I'm trying to listen. Nobody looked for more reports on Jeremiah Love other than the people who in his family don't talk to him as much as the people who get to know. But everything I've seen, it says we're good to go. So I think there may have been a little bit of holding him out. Other than one really bad ball, Riley Leonard threw the ball pretty good. We got a 6'7" tight end, man. That kid is such a monster. It's a good win in a rivalry game. Games are tough. They're close. We won. This USC team has carried a lead into every fourth quarter this year, except for this week, or except for this last week against us. That's a legit offense. Yeah.
No, listen, a good game. I think two of your cornerbacks now hold the first and third longest pick six in team history, which is fantastic. Listen, it was a close game.
My boy.
USC is a scrappy team. You came out on top, though. You found a way to win, which, listen, in previous Brian Kelly years past, you don't in these kind of games. So a good win. You're now basically locked into a playoff spot, and now you got – what do you got? You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, the teams are only going to get harder, and hopefully, they're not as motivated as that USC team was.
I'm being really happy now because it's about to get real glass half empty here in a second. I do want to point out USC quarterback Miller Moss will be entering the transfer portal after the new quarterback kind of take over, and that kid who took over is good. We said at the beginning of the year, and I said at the beginning of the year, preseason, that this USC offense was going to be good regardless of which quarterback they went with. They started with Miller Moss. The offense looked good. They won games. They switched over. The kid's name is out of my – listen, we're on to next week, so I already forgot the quarterback's name. But the offenses looked electric with this kid in. But I will say this. Miller Moss, pay attention to that name, Ohio State. If you need a quarterback, because he's going to be one of the top names on that transfer portal list. All right. After my Irish, ooh, man, all you had to do was win. Number 6, Miami lost to Syracuse 42-38. Miami fell victim to a lot of teams do every year, and that's all they've got to do is win one last game, and it almost guarantees them a spot into something, and they trip up and fall. This has been coming for Miami. I have a lot of things written here next about what my preseason prediction was, but Drew has told me to pause and wait, so I will pause and wait. Your thoughts on Miami tripping up and failing to get in the ACC championship game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that they completely face planted because listen, this Syracuse team is good.
Yeah,
they're 9-3.
Ohio State.
Shout out to Kyle McCord. He definitely He very definitely held his tongue at the press conference when he was asked about, how Ohio State and their loss. So good on him. He played a hell of a game. And this is unfortunately kind of where we see Miami the past previous years. They've been better this year, but in previous years where there are games that prove if you're a legit team or not. And Miami's had 2 of those games now, and they've lost both of them. It's a team that, like I said, against Mario Cristobal, where when your back's against the wall, who are you? And both of those games they have lost. Now, do I believe that they should still make the playoffs? Absolutely. But this is a team that, if they get put under a bunch of pressure, and teams are going to notice that, especially the defense, they're going to stumble. And so, shout out to Cam Ward, played a great game. I don't think he lost in that game. I think the defense really let him down. But, yeah, disappointing result. And now you potentially let a spot stealer in Clemson come in and potentially steal a spot from, Alabama and Ole Miss and South Carolina by, winning their conference.
Yeah, and I will say this. Yeah, state champs isn't bad for Miami. They are the Kings of Florida this year. Now I'm
It's
gonna
not hard to beat.
shut up. I understand. It's growth, but not a statement. Now you guys are gonna make me pick into something that I wasn't supposed to talk about this week, Andrew. I'm gonna say this though, like, if you look at Miami, okay, at the beginning of this year, okay, and you said they're gonna finish one game out of the ACC championship, be nationally ranked all year long, and I mean single digit ranked all year long, and they just missed out on the last game of the season of making the championship game, potentially making the national playoffs. Miami fans, Dan Lebertard, Mike Ryan, all the big University of Miami guys, Ray Lewis, would you take that season after what they have had? They would have taken that in a heartbeat. So if they would have taken that preseason, I can't sit here and say that they're. I'm not gonna say what I want to say next week, but if you're gonna talk smack about Miami, before you get to all those guys in the you're gonna come talk to me first because I'm gonna have a bone to pick with that. But let's move on. In probably the game of the week, Georgia pulled one out in 8 overtimes over Georgia Tech, 44-42. Any thoughts there?
Georgia Tech. It was 27-13. You went up 27-13 with 5.5 minutes left. You give up a touchdown in 2 minutes, and then you fumble when you have the ball when you're up 7. I don't want to use the slang term. You excreted down your leg when the moment was too bright and you couldn't hang on. You gave it your all, but oh my God, was that such a? I was watching with bated breath, being like, oh my God, they're gonna do it, and they just let me down. Auburn came through last week. You couldn't come through this week, and it's very upsetting.
No, but that's kind of Georgia Tech, and that's kind of what Georgia's been. I mean, you're gonna push them against the wall, but they're coming back. They're gonna throw punches, and Georgia Tech just didn't have enough. Almost Vandy as we move on. Almost Vandy. Tennessee took care of them 36-23, but Vandy was in control at the beginning until that Tennessee offense got rolling later on in that game. A theme this week, and I'm going to give them some actually, hold on, not yet. My bad. SMU made their case for the ACC. Well, not case for the ACC championship. They're locked in there, but their case for the committee as they took care of Cal 38-6. Indiana, don't forget about us, they say, as they won over Purdue 66-0. Yeah, it's late in the year to see a score like that, but Purdue is not good. And then here's what I was meant to say. There was one thing I will point out this week. Your Heisman finalists, the two of them, they showed out this week as Boise State took care of Oregon State 34-8. You can give your Ashton Genty game stats now.
And listen, we'll give credit to Travis Hunter, but my lord, I say we will, but my lord, was this Ashton Genty performance the one that truly I feel like proved to the world that this is your guy. 37 carries, 226 yards, and a touchdown. That brings them up to a total of 2,288 rushing yards, which is now 5th all time.
You're touching my Heisman stats, but go ahead.
5th all time. And the crazy thing is if you take the two of the players, or if you take the 4 players that are above him and match them to 12 games, because 2 of the above him are at 3 above him are at 14 games, he is actually 3rd through 12 games. So he still has the conference championship to go and potentially more playoff games to go to really push that record even further. This guy is so special, and I love I love Travis Hunter, but I put it out on Twitter on the Straub Sports. He hits every criteria we have in Heisman candidate.
And this show, listen, last year it became a Caitlin Clark, Iowa, a Caitlin Clark show. This year, it's become the Ashton Jonty show. So much so that your tweets are being liked by Ashton Jonty burner accounts. It's ridiculous, but I love you for it. All right. We will get to more on that in a second. We're running long, so let's get through these scores.
Oh yeah.
Clemson lost the Battle of South Carolina as they lost to South Carolina 17-14. Put some respect on my Gamecocks.
This was a weird game. Like teams would get both teams got far in the down, they had long drives and then either miss a field goal or they would fumble or turn it over. A very, very weird game. Probably just nerves or something, but I don't know.
Clemson, Dabo at Clemson likes to say BYOG, bring your own guts. Well, South Carolina, we bring BYOC. We bring our own pause. Moving on. All right. Alabama took home the Iron Bowl for 2 years in a row as they took care of Auburn 28-14. Ole Miss won over Mississippi State 26-14. Arizona State took care of Arizona, finally putting to death whatever season Arizona had going, 49-7 in their rivalry. Speaking of fumbling the bags, Tulane, with a potential college football playoff berth in the mix, absolutely dropped the ball as they lost to Memphis 35-24. Iowa, you got anything there? Can I keep going?
I obviously Memphis is a good team, so I can't they're 10-2, so it's not like they're that bad. But
the Miami situation, fumbling when you needed it the most.
To be a group of 5, you have to beat the teams that are close to you, regardless. Yes. You don't get a Miami tax of it's Syracuse, they're a good team. They're not going to rank Memphis like that. That's the issue.
Nope. 100%. Iowa State hung on and beat Kansas 29-24 in a 2-day elimination craziness in the Big 12. Andrew was texting me, I think it was Wednesday at some point because there was a team, or Thursday, because a team had gotten eliminated somehow already. But BYU took care of Houston 30-18. We talked about Texas A&M. Missouri 28-21 over Arkansas. UNLV beat Nevada 28-14. Illinois over Northwestern. Don't know why I wrote the scoring like that. Apologize. 38-28. Kansas State we talked about. And Colorado ended their season with a 52-0 win over Oklahoma State. I mentioned that the Heisman guys showed out. Travis Hunter said, hey, Ashton Genty, hold my beer. I don't know if either of them are old enough to have a beer, but they said, hold my chocolate milk. Travis Hunter, 116-yard receiving, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception in that. Also, if you haven't seen the funny video of Coach Prime walking them out on senior day, it was actually kind of funny. I won't get into that backstory because I'm not here to tell other people's business, but it was still kind of funny. All right.
Remember when I put Oklahoma State as my Big 12 champion in the beginning of this season?
Hey, yeah, remember I was high on them too? That's okay. I talked about Colorado.
3-9.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, it's not good. It's not been a good year at all there at Oklahoma State.
Ollie Gordon got 4 touches this game and was out carried by 3 other running backs.
He's ready for the NFL. He cashed in after the DUI, unfortunately. But all right,
terrible.
So let's get to your college football playoff top 12. Boom, there it is. There are your current projections. And I told you, cocky Notre Dame fan was going to go away because all of those times that I was talking about wanting to smoke. Ooh, I'm not so sure. So your first 2 teams out, Miami, Ole Miss. Thank you for your seasons. You will not be making it. You have no shot. Your first 4 buys. And what that means is those are not the top 4 teams in the country. Those 4 buys go to the highest ranked conference champions. So this is a projection. So as of right now, those look to be Oregon, Texas, SMU, Boise State, and Arizona State. Yes, they would get the bye. Now, your home games are flipped to the bottom. Your home games go to, once you get past the 4 top seeds, to the highest ranked at-large teams. So those go to number 5 Penn State, number 6 Notre Dame, number 7 Georgia, number 8 Ohio State. They would play the rest of the at-large teams, which would be number 9 Tennessee, number 10 Indiana, number 11 Alabama, and conference champion Arizona State. Drew, other than the fact that everyone can clearly understand that I'm completely scared shitless of having to play Alabama. However, I do love Marcus Freeman. This isn't the same team. Still, no one wants to play Alabama. What are your thoughts here on the projections? Remember, none of this is concrete. This isn't like last year where, when we would see those 4 teams, we would go, okay, that's it. Things can change. But for the most part, this is going to be your 12 minus some guys who could win their conference champions. We will get to those here in a second. I updated last week's graphics.
So, one, I love the games. I think they are very evenly balanced, if I'm being completely honest.
They're awesome.
Except for the Georgia-Indiana, but they're going to face Texas, and it's fine. My problem here is the 11th seed and then your first team out. Alabama
and Miami.
Yes. While Alabama is Alabama and they're playing a hard SEC schedule, 1, they have 1 less loss than Miami. 2, they are both not in their conference championships, so you can't say that one is over the other in that. And 2, while Miami has lost to a 9-3 Syracuse team and a very punchy 7-5 Georgia Tech team that has had multiple top 25 upsets, Alabama has lost to a 6-6 Vandy, who, yes, has had some upsets, but better than normal. But I think we rate Vandy a little higher because they're not 2-10 anymore. They are 6-6. They lost to a good but not great Tennessee team. And
who's in the playoffs?
I said good but not great. And an awful Oklahoma team where they only put up 7 points.
Yes.
That's, I think, if they hadn't lost that, I could say it's even, and whoever gets put in, I understand. I think that's the only issue for me is you have an Alabama team who, on occasion, just can't play and don't do well. Miami's both losses, they were close, and they barely lost both of those. Alabama, there are times where they look bad. And so I think that's where I think the only issue I have, like I said, nothing's set in stone yet, but unfortunately, neither of the teams have anything to prove or can't prove anything anymore. So that's possibly what the things are going to be.
It kind of is set in stone for the most part. So Texas and Georgia could flip. And like I said, there are some other teams who could guarantee themselves a spot. However, like I said, we're going to get to these teams. If SMU loses, and I'm only going to do this to save my graphics. If SMU loses, or if Boise State were to lose, or Oregon or Texas, if any of those top 4 teams were to lose, okay, minus SMU, the only thing that is going to happen is they are going to slide down, and then they're just going to be replaced by a conference champion in their seeding. Boise State's probably getting in no matter what. Oregon is in no matter what. Texas is in no matter what. So the only thing that could possibly happen is we could see a team slide down and Alabama could be bumped out. But I don't think there is no shot for Miami to move in because, like you said, neither of these two teams playing each other. And the committee chairman himself said there would not be movement from teams that do not play this week. Now, that's also scary for my home side over here, over at Notre Dame, because that potentially means I'm locked in here at 6. The highest I can be is 5 because I'm not in a conference. Joke on that in a second. Because I'm not in a conference, the highest I can be is 5. Yeah. So if they're telling teams that you can't move up when you're not playing this week, that also means Notre Dame's locked in at 6, and they're leaving me there, which I'm okay with. Give me a home game. As long as you give me a home game, I'm cool with that. Come to South Bend in December. It's cold. Let me spoiler alert. I'm sorry, January. Come to South Bend in January. Spoiler alert. It's cold. But that would mean Miami's out. And that would mean the only thing Alabama could do is hold and then maybe potentially slide to 12. And that's it.
So the only thing that I could potentially see happening, so I'll explain it. The only game that I think doesn't involve 2 teams that are already in the college football playoff, the championship game, is SMU at Clemson. Now, if SMU wins, Clemson's out. Most likely Alabama stays in, yada, yada. If Clemson wins, Clemson gets the automatic bid. Does SMU bump out Alabama, or do they do a similar thing to Miami or to SMU that they did Miami and say 2 losses in the ACC is not as good as 3 losses in the SEC, and then you'd have a really massive outlash on your hands that 2 ACC teams with better records got basically thrown out for a 3-loss SEC team because of either conference play or merit from previous seasons.
The thing that helps SMU hurts them. So SMU, other than 1 loss to BYU, a good BYU team, okay, has run the table. The problem is in the ACC, they have avoided everyone. They did not play Clemson. Well, they will, but they did not play Clemson in the regular season. They did not play Miami. They avoided a lot of the heavyweights, which led to a funny Twitter interaction between SMU AD and Arizona State AD taking shots at each other. Both of you be quiet, considering neither of you play or coach, or have a podcast with your brother. The problem, that is the problem for SMU. They haven't played anyone. So if they lose, now I personally think they should get in over Alabama, but I don't base when I talk like this over that. I watch the committee and I give you my opinion based on what I basically know the committee is going to do. And no, I think if SMU loses, I don't think the ACC is strong enough this year, like they have been in the past, to survive that.
Yeah, I also do. I think we should give the committee. I don't know if they will, but they should give SMU bonus just for making the college their conference championship when Alabama didn't. So it's possible they take that into effect even with the loss of they made it. At least we're gonna keep them in.
No,
depending on the score, obviously.
Yeah. I would like some movement. That's all I'm gonna say.
Honestly, I like this. Not where everyone's at. I like the 12 teams other than the Miami and Alabama. I think if you swap those are your 12 best teams, and there is a gap. I think that everyone else is good.
And you would be willing to admit the Miami Alabama thing is not Alabama Florida State of last year. So it's
no, I don't believe it is. But I think that's a completely different set of circumstances, and that's just
all right. So let's get rolling into conference championship week. Well, that is another one. If Penn State loses, do they drop in the rankings? Yes. If they look awful against Oregon, yeah, I think they have a potential to drop, and then we could see some chaos if Oregon blows them out, or if Texas blows out Georgia.
I think they'll still stay in SEC.
Possibly, but if we put those 2 results together, then and some other ones that we're about to get to, then you could start to see some chaos. All right, let's get to conference championship week, baby. It starts up top. Well, it doesn't start up top, but we're going to start up top with the Mountain West. We've got Boise State versus UNLV. That game is the 6th, just so you're aware, because some of these are a little early. 8 p.m. on Fox. Boise State looking for their 6th Mountain West title. UNLV looking for their 1st.
Listen, this is a great game. 2 ranked teams. Absolutely love it. I don't think anyone's going to watch this game other than – I mean, I am glad. No, I'm not saying no one can watch it. The only reason people are going to watch this is because Ashton Jonty can move up the rankings on this list and potentially, if he gets, I think, like 60 yards, he's up to 4th. And then if he gets 200 yards or more, if he gets 200 yards, he's up to 3rd. If he gets 220 yards, he's up to 2nd.
This is also a big game for Boise State to prove to the committee we belong. So, yes, in a loss, Boise State is probably and could still be in. Their only loss right now is to Oregon. That's a very good loss. It's the best loss that you could possibly have in the country. They don't want to go out, though, and A, get stomped, or B, lose a close, ugly game.
Yeah.
Because then the committee's going to go, are we sure? Are we sure? Because they haven't beaten anyone very good yet. So this is a chance for them to go, hey, Oregon, we got it. We understand, but they've beaten everybody. We just took care of a ranked team, and we took them to the woodshed. Here's our Mountain West championship. Let's give us our playoff game.
Yeah. Double digits, I think, is all that's needed.
Yes. Yeah. Give me 2 touchdowns. Give me 2 Ashton Genty touchdowns late to pull it away, and you're good to go. In the American, Army takes on Tulane. That will be once again on the 6th, 8 o'clock on ABC. Army looking for its first American championship. It is their first year in the American. Tulane looking for its second title in the American. I mean, no college football playoff implications on the line now that Tulane kind of blew it and Army got humbled by Notre Dame. But, I mean, come on, let's be real. Let's go Army.
Yeah, and honestly, the nice thing is that the American games, conference championships are played at the better team's home stadium. So it's at Army. It's going to be absolutely fantastic in West Point, New York. Potentially some snow. Going to be absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. Get that triple option going in the snow. I don't got to tell the cadets to get up. They will be. Let's go Army. Moving on into the Sun Belt. Marshall takes on Louisiana. 7:30 on ESPN. I think that game is the 6th as well. We have Marshall looking for their second Sun Belt Conference championship. Louisiana looking for its 5th.
I mean, we talked about Louisiana, and I like them. Marshall will always have a soft place in my heart. Shout out Matthew McConaughey. We are Marshall. But no, it's a fun game. I think that this one is going to be kind of high scoring. Both teams are high scoring offenses, so it'll be fun. If you don't have anything to do on 7:30 on Saturday, put it on. It's going to be a fun game.
I don't care if I do. I'll still be watching it. We'll be watching it. Watching Zoo Lights. Watching this game. It'll be in one of the boxes. Put some respect on the MAC, baby. We got a big one Saturday at noon on ESPN as Miami of Ohio takes on the Ohio Bobcats. Ohio U looking for their 6th. Yeah. Shout out to Ohio U looking for their 6th title, and shout out to Miami of Ohio looking for their 18th MAC championship.
Hey, listen, we're not making to a bowl game, so beating a team that wins the MAC may be our highlight of our season. So I guess go Miami. I don't know.
Let's go. Bobby, save this question for about 3 slides. In Conference USA, on the 6th as well on CBS Sports Network, we've got Jacksonville State versus Western Kentucky. Jacksonville State looking for their 1st title in Conference USA. Western Kentucky looking for its 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, good to see Jacksonville State bounce back finally after seeing Dion leave, so I'm glad they're back there. Western Kentucky, a somewhat frequent opponent for Cincinnati in the early season because we like to play Kentucky teams. I wouldn't be upset if either of these teams won.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the big dogs. We have got the Big Ten Championship, 8 o'clock CBS, Oregon, and this is a theme this year. Looking for their first Big Ten title in their first appearance. They take on Penn State, looking for their 5th Big Ten title, but their first since 2016. Andrew, you have the floor to say something giddy about Penn State.
Penn State. I'm going to write something on this notepad here.
We've got visuals.
And it's the only thing I have to say to you because it's something that I've been wanting from you. I know everyone calls me a hater. It's not a hater. It's because I want them to succeed so bad. Don't blow it. And what I mean by don't blow it, I don't need you to win. Don't get blown out. Don't make it look pathetic. Don't pull a Penn State and because of one game, completely take your chances out the window. Don't blow it.
Oregon doesn't need this game to win. I mean, they would like it on this kind of redemption tour that they have this year where they want to just collect as many trophies as they can on their way to a natty. Penn State arguably doesn't need this game, I would say, because their only 2 losses would then be to Oregon and Ohio State, but it would not look good in the committee's eyes for Penn State to get blown out. Moving over to the other side, we've got the Big 12 championship game. Another team looking for their first ever Big 12 title, but not for their first year. That would be Arizona State. They also take on Iowa State looking for their first ever Big 12 title. So no matter what on the Big 12 side, we will have a first-year champion.
Yeah, I give props to both of them. I'm pretty sure they have Iowa State favored, and I think it's just because Iowa State has a really good defense. But man, this Arizona State team is hot. And I always ride the hot hands, especially when it comes to Big 12 play, just because the offenses are always insane. So I like Arizona State in this game, but if Iowa State does make it scrappy, I do like them coming out of the second half if it stays kind of close and not high scoring.
Fun theme thoughts on that game on Big Bros Big Bets. All right, and then our last set, SEC championship game, 4 p.m. on ABC. We have Georgia looking for their 6th SEC title, their 3rd for Kirby Smart, facing off against first year in the SEC, first year in the championship game. That would be the University of Texas. A big dog showdown here. And a rematch.
Yeah, and also Georgia's not playing Alabama in a championship game, so I'm going to take Georgia because, listen, I am liking what Texas is doing. I am really high on them in terms of their potential, but this is the SEC championship game. This is not a Big 12 championship game where you're just going to be able to sling the ball and whoever scores 50 points first wins the game. SEC or Georgia is going to absolutely brutalize this Texas team, and I don't think that they have the wherewithal to take that punch and keep going. I think it's not going to be as bad as when they first met, but I think that Texas still hasn't learned that lesson for SEC play yet.
Texas, I said you were back last year, and you were back. You made the college football playoffs with only 4. You want to be full horns up back, take you an SEC title in your first year, show Georgia that first loss was a fluke, and let's go. Moving on to the ACC, our last one, our ACC championship game. That'll be 8 o'clock on ABC. In their first year in the ACC, we have SMU taking on ACC heavyweight Clemson Tigers. Yes, and that stat is for real. They are looking for their 22nd ACC title and their only chance to get into the college football playoff. Drew, does SMU have enough to, first of all, play the best team that they've played all year and win, but secondly, withstand Dabo and that Clemson everything that, all the guts are being brought, all the corny slogans, all the pageantry, it's all coming out for Clemson. Does SMU have enough?
So 2 things before I get into that rant. 1, shout out SMU, former American brother. Appreciate you. Glad you're having success. 2, I also only believe Clemson has that many ACC titles because they're one of the only schools to not just jump conferences for the past 50, 60 years. You know any Big East titles I would have had at this point? Anyways, listen, the key to beating a Dabo Swinney coached Clemson team is to force them to make mistakes. And as for SMU in terms of defense, it's not fantastic. They're not, this absolutely stout defense, but listen, they got, I want to say 15 interceptions on the year. They play pretty decently. You just have to force them to make mistakes. And I will say though, SMU is a high-flying, fast, top-speed team that will put its heart on the line and maybe make some mistakes in the process to make the other team make mistakes. And that's how they're going to play. And that's how you have to beat Clemson. So if they play their game and it works, they're going to beat them. They play their game and they fail, they're going to lose. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to play their game, and it's the best way. It's the best way that they can play.
I agree 100%. And I'm excited for conference championships. They're going to be exciting this week. You have no excuse not to watch every single one of them. I'm just going to say that. I don't care. There's only 9. That's not tough. I watch 9 games at once. These are all split up.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so I don't want to hear it. All right. So finally, before we get to our bets to wrap up college, obviously the Heisman Trophy is upon us, or rapidly closing upon us. I gave you all that nonsense last week with all them extra guys. It's a 2-man race, so it's a 2-man slide. Boom. There you go. There are your Heisman Trophy favorites. Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver, the Colorado Buffaloes, and his 92 receptions, his 1,152 yards, his 14 touchdowns on offense. And then on the defensive side, his 31 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. And on the other side, in the blue corner, we have Ashton Jonty, running back of the Boise State Broncos, who are in the playoffs. I think that is fair to point out for his team. Colorado was close, but hey, they're there. His 312 carries, as Drew pointed out, his 2288 yards, 28 touchdowns, and that man is averaging almost a first down a carry, 7.3 yards per carry. I don't care who else is in the Heisman room. I'd like them to invite everyone just so that it's fun. And then you have more guys, more packages to show of people, highlight packages of people, and you'd have 2 teammates in the room. I think that would be cool. But these are your 2 guys. We're not going to make any more cases for either of them. Number one, because I don't want to hear Drew talk about Ashton Jonty anymore. And I've given as much love to Colorado and Travis Hunter as anybody possibly could. So we're good there. I do want to throw this question up, though. Does Jonty go ahead of Hunter for Heisman with him playing this weekend? And is Hunter done until bowl games? And with Hunter being done until bowl games? No, because regardless of what the rest of us think, in the eyes of a lot of the people who bet on this and they have knowledge of voters, Travis Hunter is the clear favorite. So I think Ashton Jonty needs a massive game this weekend to actually put himself close enough to actually make this a race. I know a lot of us smart college football fans look at what Ashton Jonty's done this year and his numbers and where he's going to be in college football history, and we want it. But the flash and the show and the numbers also, because we have to put respect on Travis Hunter's numbers, but the flash and the media coverage and the show of Travis Hunter is such a train right now that, yeah, Jonty's going to have to do something to the bridge on that train to derail it to get himself in front.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of voters make up their mind once the season is over. They don't take into account championships or bowl games unless it's like it's too close to tell. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I believe, I think that. No, I don't. I'm not going to go down that track because I believe, honestly, if either one won, I would say they deserved it. Do I believe Jonty has done a better year? Yes, but I don't think that Hunter winning it would be a sham or a travesty or anything like that. I think he is a great athlete in his own right. Go ahead. I was going to say, it is possible that Jonty can sway voters because obviously they do not have to submit their votes until, I want to say, the week before the college football playoff. So,
yes. So there is still time. But hey, on a bigger note, excuse me, Ashton Jonty, Travis Hunter, Saquon Barkley, shout out to the guys in the races for the biggest trophies, singular, player-wise, MVP and Heisman Trophy that aren't quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Okay. Last one here. Everyone has a game this week. Did you know that? Yeah.
Really?
Hold on. Well, it would only work if I can actually make my joke work. There we go. Yeah. Boom. See, this week, every slot's filled. So you have your championship games, but here you go. Here's the rest of them. Number 4, Notre Dame. What do you have this week? Join a freaking conference. Okay.
Why?
All right. Figure it out. I know you gave us 6 open slots in the playoffs that we can take, but still, I want a first round bye. Ohio State Buckeyes. Nope. No thanks this week. Tennessee, very thankful for not playing this week. Indiana, extra thankful for not playing this week because they do not want to be exposed. Alabama not playing this week. This is weird. This is kind of weird. Miami, you blew it. Ole Miss, never a chance. South Carolina, I 100% stand by that. There is nobody else in the country. There is no team in the country nobody wants to play that. The teams do not want to play right now. More in South Carolina. BYU, we'll play on Sunday if we could get in. That's how much BYU wants to get in. Missouri, go away. We don't want you anywhere near the playoffs. Illinois, everyone else in the Big Ten is in. Why can't we be in? No? Syracuse, you're welcome, Clemson. Colorado, they are currently ready for the NFL draft. Army is on to Navy. I know they have the championship game, but still, they're on to Navy. And Memphis, it's basketball season, and I had to point that out. You said Memphis wasn't ranked. Memphis is ranked. Just to poke a little bit of fun at you.
The week before they were not ranked.
It's okay. All right, it's time to talk about something
okay.
fantastic that happened on Big Bros Big Bets last week. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we had a perfect run-in on the NFL. Okay, let's talk about it. We've got on our spreads, we've got Oregon State. Thank you very much for not blowing it, not winning, but keeping it close. Georgia, go away. Army, come on. South Carolina, thank you very much, as always. Florida, shout out to you for covering the spread. Oregon, taking care of business. Kansas, see what I get for believing in you. And then big shout out to Boston College and SMU. Big shout outs. And then, hey, upset Central. Michigan, boom, won you some money if you went go blue. And then obviously you're riding with South Carolina every week. That's what you do if you rock with Big Bros, Big Bets. I already talked about the NFL section. Let's get to this week. I did something funny. If you don't figure it out, I'll figure it out for you. All of the favorites are in the spreads. All of the other teams are in upset central. There's only 9 games. I gave you all of them. So those are your spreads. Obviously, as you see, Boise State and Tulane favorite. Okay. Jacksonville State, Miami of Ohio favorite, Arizona State, Texas favorite over Georgia, Oregon favorite, only 3.5 over Penn State, SMU 2.5 favorites over Clemson. You see the dogs on the money line if you want to mess with those. And we look to stay blazing hot in our NFL run-in. Give me the Buccaneers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Saints, the Seahawks, the Bills, and the refs. I mean the Chiefs. Listen, shots all the way through. All right, boom. We are going very long this week, so let's rapid fire through this footy so you can wrap it up with our Americans. Boom. We had some big wins this week. There were multiple games. We had some Sunday and then in the midweek. Liverpool right now remain atop and put 2 past lowly, reeling, spiraling City, at least until they got a hand of Notre Dame, Nottingham Forest. You can tell I'm reeling here. Yeah. Chelsea put 3 past reeling Villa. Bournemouth, Brentford, my Manchester United all put 4 win in their first week wins. Arsenal put 5 past West Ham. And then we rolled into that second band of fixtures. Chelsea remained hot. Manchester City finally won a game. And then Manchester United lost to Arsenal. Corner FC on just 2 of the worst defended corner kicks I have ever seen in my life. And if we weren't at 2 hours already, I would go on a 10-minute rant on how I coached my U11 team to defend corners better than that. But we will just roll on to that because we are only halfway through the year, so we will spend plenty of time with the footy. We've got some games this week, obviously Liverpool and Everton. We've got Chelsea and Spurs. That will be a good one. Manchester United, lowly Manchester United, take on Nottingham Forest. We'll just move on from there. But not a lot of great games this week, but we do still, obviously, we're getting into the halfway point. Points matters, results matters. So, yeah.
I am 7 points off the lead. I don't remember the last time we have been this far into a season, and I am this high up on the standings. I'm not gonna get into this too far because like I said we're way over. But
okay, you're high up. Did you look over the edge? Are you scared?
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
Hey, look at you. I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for you, but if it means you take, I don't know. Liverpool winning is awful for me, but hearing you talk for a year is awful too. So I'm not sure which is worse for me. I'm not about to say come on Arsenal, but maybe the lesser of 3 evils. But yeah. So I agree with you. But let's get to the championship game. The MLS championship game is upon us as the semis were decided, as the Red Bulls had wings and flew in a 1-0 victory over Orlando City. I know that was awful, whatever. And the Galaxy win late against Seattle 1-0, but at what cost as they lose Ricky Pooch for the year as he played most of the second half with a torn ACL in true LA Kobe Bryant fashion. Rest in peace, Kobe. But yeah, so now we have, and you can switch to the next graphic, we have the Red Bulls and the LA Galaxy. I was so excited for this game for about all of 3.5 minutes until the news came out that Ricky Pooch was out with an ACL tear. He is our engine. He is our Messi. He makes everything go. He is prime Messi for us. He makes everything go for my Galaxy. I know we have talent. I know we have Dak. I know we have Marco Royce. I know we have Pencil. This is deflate. I know I should be more excited that my team's playing in a cup final, but like I'm kind of deflated.
Listen, no championship comes without its hurdles. And you really haven't had hurdles this season. Look at the playoffs. You swept Colorado, you blew out Minnesota, and you honestly dominated Seattle. You forced them to defend for the entire time and basically rely on Jordan Morris to save them. They did it last. Week against LAFC. They couldn't do it against you. You really hadn't had any adversity. Now you do. It makes the game more interesting. It makes you more invested. It sucks that you don't have them, but how can this team rally around and beat a Red Bull team that's coming out of really nowhere and beaten a Columbus team that was really, really good, a New York City team that had beaten the defending Community Shield members, and probably the best team out of the bunch out of Miami and Columbus, and out of past those three in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good team, and your back's against the wall now. What do you got?
The scary thing is we talked in the beginning of the year that the key for LA was staying healthy, that they're kind of top heavy, similar to Miami, not as top heavy, but they needed their key guys to be healthy to make a run, and they were, and we made the run. So that is scary. It also sucks because with Ricky Pooch, I don't think this game is close. I think we continue the roll, and I think we roll over the Red Bulls. But hey, let's go. Do it for Ricky. We're winning it. We're winning this one for Ricky. So, yeah, we will see what happens. That game is this weekend. I know it mixes in with
Saturday at 4 p.m.
Yes, baby. Trust me, that'll be on a TV by itself while the conference championships games will be in mixed as well. And that will do it for the MLS. We're very rapid fire. Oh, I put it back up. We're a little bit rapid fire here at the end of the footy. We went long on all our football, so we want to, kind of clean it up quickly. But we don't end any of our footy segments without the man taking care of business for us. It's time to bring our Americans home from abroad with Americans abroad. Strabo, bring us home.
Absolutely. Well, it's not much this week. Okay, because the ones that we do have are very, very important. Christian Pulisic with an assist and a 3-0 that makes his 5th assist. Captain America doing Captain America things. Next, Anthony Robinson captained Fulham in a 1-1 draw against Tottenham and captained in a 3-1 win against Brighton today. He is the first American to captain a Premier League side since Tim Ream last season. Absolutely fantastic, and he deserves it. Very, very good. And a good sign, and a sign that the rest of the injuries are going to be clearing up soon. Luca De La Torre played his first match in September, and in that match in the Copa del Rey, assisted his first assist in the season in a 7-0 win. Listen, Ken, we don't have a lot of international games coming up. The first one is going to be in March. We have some Ken comebacks in January, but watching these guys get healthy and perform, it's exactly what we want to see.
Slams the pen down. I love it. 100% is exactly what we want to see. Guys getting healthy, guys getting back in, playing meaningful minutes, and attributing meaningful things to the game as well. And I know your stat at the end kind of maybe downplayed it when you say he's the first American to captain a team since last year, Tim Ream, same club, Fulham. But other than Fulham, to have an American recognized at that club as someone so important and so good that we want you to captain our club, man, extra American abroad. Shout out to Anthony Robinson. I'll say your name correctly. But yeah, so boom, that's Americans abroad. So everybody knows what that means. That'll do it for us here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. An extremely long show. We appreciate you rocking with us for as long as you possibly could and sticking it out with us. Thank you for all your comments today. You guys have been outstanding in the comment section the past couple of weeks. I got to give you all some love and some shout outs. Daniel, Sean, Nick, Bobby, Coach, when they were all in here last week. Shout out to you guys, Mom and Pops as always as well. You guys are an integral part of the show. You make the wheel spin even when you're making our brain spin trying to figure something out. Thank you for everybody for, like I said, for rocking with us. Make sure you follow and like and subscribe to 216 Sports Network. Make sure you follow them as well. Make sure you follow the Straub Bro Sports Show. Where can you find all of that Straub Bro Sports Show everywhere, baby. You can find us on Twitter, X at Straub Bro Sports. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS, Instagram, Straub Bro Sports Show, blowing up on a Tuesday. Spotify, Straub Bro Sports Show, that will be updated fully this weekend. You have my word. I've been keeping those on that this recently. And like I've always said, well, have I said recently, if you are watching on something other than your phone, take your phone right there, open your camera, and put it on that thing right there. It will open you up to the Straub Bro Sports Show YouTube page, where a bunch of y'all have been rocking with us today, and we really appreciate y'all for doing that. Make sure you like and subscribe to us there. Become one of our 17 subscribers. The baby show is growing up. It's getting its baby. It can drive now. It's at 16. That thing is going. Make sure you follow us there. That is your one-stop shop for everything Straub Bro Sports Show, the podcast, the interviews, our stuff that we do with the Falls Rapids coming up here in a second, all our stuff that we did with Josh Cribbs, all the stuff we did with Akron City, everything. Everything's up there, baby. So go find and like that there. And as always, our friends of the show, our Straub Bro of the Week sponsor, Create Your Own Wave Apparel, my guy Austin. Make sure you follow that Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021. And get your apparel at cyowapparel.myshopify.com. As we talked about, official broadcast team of the Falls Rapids. Make sure you check out the Instagram page. Excuse me. That's where you find the interviews. But if you head on over to YouTube, got a special section for the Falls Rapids. All of those interviews that are allowed to be seen are up there. They're all up there, but you all can't see them yet. But we'll be debuting more of those as we go on. And make sure you get in with us and the Ruler's Minute as he joined the Falls Rapid for that Christmas toy drive with Keys to Serenity. Those unwrapped toys can be dropped off at those locations, and I will get Rico's location updated ASAP, and I will share it out as well. And don't forget, Rico McGee, our newest member of the Falls Rapids media team. He will be our official sideline personality. We'll be able to throw it down to Rico during the games, get you from perspective from the sidelines, and some other cool stuff that we'll be working on in the future with Rico as well. And while you're watching those games or you're watching the podcast, make sure you get some Schmoopy sweets and treats. Remember, all your orders, whatever it might be, all on the Facebook page. Remember, you got permission from Straub Bro Sports Show to head over to Facebook, find Schmoopy Sweets and Treats, and slide into those DMs so you can get your holiday baking, whether it's on the green side, all the regular goodies, or if you're over on that other side and you've got some gluten-free, some dairy-free, some allergy-friendly stuff, she has got you covered. Make sure you get all of those orders in before the week of the 16th, or you're not getting it for Christmas Eve and Christmas, and your family is going to be disappointed in you that you didn't get the good baked goods that we talked about here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. So get those orders in. Thank you to all our friends of the show. We appreciate you. Make sure you try to stay as warm as you possibly can this week. If you're watching up here, it is cold, so stay warm. Enjoy a nice long episode of the Straub Bro Sports Show. Bro, any final shout-outs?
I mean, you took my weather report at the end there. I'm usually the one that tells people to stay safe because it's all cold out there. But no, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening with however you get the show. And also, I am giving you permission. I'm allowing it now. It is past Thanksgiving. Put up your Christmas stuff, go do Christmas things, and enjoy the holidays. You have my blessing now that it is past, an amazing holiday such as Thanksgiving.
I got a Christmas tree up. I got Christmas stuff all over my entertainment center, and I've cut down a live Christmas tree. We're as Christmas as it gets over here on this older Straub side of the Straub Bro Sports Show. So Santa's coming. He can hear me.
My tree's coming up this weekend.
There we go. So that'll do it for us here, and we will see you next week on the Straub Bro Sports Show. Please remember to always love yours.